And Lori Harvey, they're heating things up in Italy.
Notice her arm is on the back of his chair.
Shocking!
Because you know he was running with Oprah and them. He was running with that whole crew. Weinstein, Oprah, Epstein. He was running with that whole crew.
And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually.
Oh, you've been saying this for a long time now. And then no one was, they're just, why is he saying this? And now it's coming out like crazy.
But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated.
Strap in, because we're diving deep into a story that's more twisted than a Hollywood thriller. A tale of power, secret tapes, and a feud that exploded into one of the biggest scandals to ever rock the entertainment world. This isn't just gossip anymore, this is a reckoning. Before we uncover the shocking details about who might be on those tapes, make sure you're locked in with us. If you're not already part of the crew that gets the real story, hit that subscribe button and smash the bell icon so you never miss a moment when we drop new revelations.
And psychologically. So that's that. Now, 50 Cent.
What's he doing there, Pat? Did you see that photo?
Yeah, I mean, some pictures.
Right, well, the other way
Great
around.
artist.
What's he doing down there? One more. What's he doing right?
That's when he was, apparently that is when he received and he fell to the floor and started banging on his chair crying.
Picture this, October 2025. A New York courtroom falls silent. After years of hushed rumors, sealed documents, and a carefully constructed empire of influence, the verdict is in. Cent Diddy Combs, the man who symbolized hip-hop royalty, unimaginable wealth, and creative genius, is found guilty. The charges? Sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy. For millions, it was a seismic shock, a brutal fall from grace that defied belief.
Diddy had a speaking gig this week. I don't know if you guys were going to go watch him speak, but he had a speaking gig this week. And 50 Cent wastes no time trolling the 50-month sentence. And he goes out there and says, Cent Diddy Combs was sentenced 50 months in prison on federal charges. The rapper, whose real name is Curtis Jackson, posted on X, not long after Diddy's sentence was revealed, offering to take his spot on a upcoming speaking engagement. Hey, to whoever was booking Diddy for speaking engagement, I heard he won't be able to make it.
But for one man, it was the moment he'd been predicting for over 2 decades. That man was 50 Cent, and he wasn't just saying, "I told you so." He was screaming it from the rooftops, backing it up with a documentary project that sent a cold chill through the heart of Hollywood, a film ominously titled, He's Got the Tapes. This is the story of how a 20-year-old hip-hop beef unraveled into a real-life horror story, exposing a dark underbelly of control, coercion, and a culture of silence that protected a predator for far too long. This is about the tapes, the threats, and the terrified celebrities now scrambling to erase their past.
So you have something huge coming up, which is a documentary about P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Did he do it, right?
Yeah.
I know
He did it.
you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually.
Oh, you've been saying this for a long time now. And then no one was, they're just, why is he saying this? And now it's coming out like crazy.
But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated to a degree.
The tension between 50 Cent and Diddy isn't just a feud, it's a foundational pillar of hip-hop history. Rewind to the early 2000s. Diddy was the established mogul, the king of bad boy records, a master of branding and champagne-soaked glamour. 50 Cent was the hungry, bulletproof newcomer from Queens, embodying a raw, unfiltered energy that didn't play by the industry's polite rules.
He's a rapper, actor, producer, businessman, and the list goes on. 50 Cent has his hands in just about everything and showing no signs of slowing down. We sat down with a multi-hyphenate to discuss his upcoming return to the stage, his current projects, and what's coming in the future, including his docuseries about Diddy.
The spark was lit early. 50 has claimed for years that, during his early struggles, he ghost wrote a verse for Diddy and was never properly paid or credited. That small slight festered. Soon, 50's tracks were laced with subtle and then not so subtle jabs at Puff Daddy. By the time Get Rich or Die Trying exploded, their relationship was ashes.
So let's start with 50 Cent, because I read that the name originally was a metaphor for change, and also from a Brooklyn bank robber in the 1980s.
Yeah, well, street guy. Yeah.
Okay, and so what was that change metaphor that you were thinking about so early on?
Well, I came with the concept of I just do things my way, and I knew that the other artists that were there, there was so many talented artists who were part of hip-hop culture that I knew they could beat me at different things, but they couldn't beat me at being me.
But this was more than just clashing egos. 50 Cent always sensed something darker. Behind the flashy vote or die campaigns, the white parties, and the celebrity-studded charity galas, 50 was hinting at a rot he believed was festering at the core of Diddy's world. He'd post memes, make jokes, but the intent was deadly serious. He was the boy pointing at the emperor, insisting he had no clothes while the rest of the world was blinded by the glitter. Fast forward to 2024. As federal investigations into Diddy intensified, 50 Cent made his move. He announced a docu-series dedicated to investigating every single accusation ever leveled against the mogul. Skeptics rolled their eyes. It's just 50 being 50, they said. Another one of his marketing stunts. But then, Netflix bought the rights.
Bombshell announcement amid mounting lawsuits against Sean Diddy Combs. Houston rapper 50 Cent announced yesterday that he's the executive producer of a docu-series about the and allegations against Combs. The series will also discuss trafficking and racketeering charges Combs is facing.
The involvement of a streaming giant changed everything. It transformed a taunt into a legitimate threat. It meant there was substance, evidence, and a story too explosive to ignore. Then during the trial, the bombshell dropped. Prosecutors confirmed the existence of video recordings. Not just any videos, freak-off tapes, as they were called in court. They were described as explicit, disturbing, and meticulously organized, showing what the state argued was a pattern of organized exploitation. The most chilling detail: witnesses testified that Diddy used these recordings as tools of control. He would film private encounters, often without full consent, and then hold the footage over people's heads. The message was clear: speak out against me, and I will release this to the world.
Said Diddy gonna end up doing 24 months in prison. The judge gave him 50 months, but you gotta realize he already had 14 months in it, practically, and he's going to get credit for 2 months of that 14 months.
Suddenly, the title of 50 Cent's documentary, He's Got the Tapes, stopped sounding like a boast and started sounding like a dire warning to an entire industry. The laughter died in their throats. This wasn't a game anymore. When the guilty verdict came down, it didn't just end a career, it triggered a panic. The wall of silence began to crumble, and the great Hollywood scramble began. Celebrities who had once jockeyed for a spot in Diddy's Instagram photos began a frantic digital cleanse. Posts were deleted, tributes vanished, histories were rewritten. Steve Harvey was among the first. Back in 2017, he'd publicly praised Diddy, calling him "my brother" and lauding his generosity. That post, wiped from the internet, deleted shortly after Diddy's 2024 arrest. But Steve's case was particularly interesting. The internet has a long memory, and it quickly resurfaced photos from a 2019 Italian vacation. There was Diddy arm in arm with Steve's stepdaughter, Lori Harvey. And right there in the background, smiling for the camera, was Steve himself. Neither Steve nor Lori ever confirmed a relationship, but the timing of his social media purge now looked suspicious. When 50 Cent posted, "A lot of people are nervous right now," the subtext was deafening. It wasn't just about embarrassment, it was about fear. Fear of what was on those tapes. Fear of who else was caught on camera, smiling in a room where they shouldn't have been. Steve Harvey, the beloved family man and comedian, suddenly became visibly uncomfortable in interviews, dodging any topic related to Diddy.
And looking at this lawsuit, Little Roy, he also claiming that, when he would go to parties with Diddy, he was lacing up the woman drinks with drugs. How you feel about him saying that? You believe that?
I read that, and if that's what he saw, if he could prove that, And he has a lot of video. He said he had hours and hours of video.
The perception was damning. In a world built on image, even a whiff of association with this level of scandal can be a career killer. Then, the rumor mill turned its gaze even higher. In mid-2025, whispers began to swirl, connecting two of America's most trusted figures to Diddy's world, Oprah Winfrey and Bishop T.D. Jakes. The internet ran wild with clips and forum posts speculating about their attendance at his infamous parties. The response was swift and public. At a live event, Oprah stated firmly, "I have never been to one of Diddy's parties." She added, "Anyone who knows me knows I leave early from every event." Bishop Jakes was similarly dismissive, explaining he'd only stopped by a birthday celebration years ago for about 30 minutes, and vehemently denying any bizarre romantic rumors, calling them foolish and disrespectful. The audience laughed, but the timing was everything.
You know a line when they start explaining something and nobody asked them to explain. Oprah Winfrey, color purple, decided to take it upon herself to get on stage and tell her audience that she ain't never been to a P. Diddy party. Now, Oprah, we all know your.
Why now? Why so defensive? Because by June 2025, the trial had already painted a horrifying picture of what those parties truly were. Not glamorous soirees, but private, coercive gatherings where people were filmed without their knowledge. Their denials, while likely true, highlighted the sheer terror the tapes inspired. The mere suggestion of a connection was enough to force two powerful, respected figures to address internet gossip directly. The ground beneath everyone's feet had become unstable. So, where does this leave us? With a convicted mogul, a terrified industry, and 50 Cent, the self-appointed prophet of its downfall. His documentary is more than just a victory lap. It's a direct challenge to the entire ecosystem of Hollywood. He's leveraging his unique position, an independently wealthy artist who owes nothing to the traditional power structure, to ask the questions others are too afraid to ask. When he says he's got the tapes, he's implying a terrifying possibility.
I don't want him going to those
What's up
car
with the
parties.
hugging pictures at the white party, though? What is that?
I don't know, bro.
Every picture is a little
Why is
bit.
everyone so happy to be there? I'm like, this regular parties, people don't just hug each other.
You have to sit in 4 hours of traffic
like
to
5
drive
minutes. Come
in
on,
the
let's
answer.
have a group hug. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is like, look, I'm gonna shake your hand. Hey, what's up, man? Everything good? Yeah,
It does feel control. Yo, hold on, baby. That's crazy.
I'm telling you, it was too much fun.
That's crazy.
It was a little too much.
That copies exist outside of law enforcement evidence lockers, that he or his sources might have access, that the truth in its most raw and damning form could still be released. This is the sword of Damocles hanging over Hollywood. Every social media post from 50 teasing new footage sends executives and A-listers into a panic. It's not about gossip anymore. It's about evidence. It's about complicity. The verdict against Diddy didn't just expose one man's crimes. It exposed an entire culture that looked the other way.
Diddy and Lori Harvey, who, you know, have been spending a lot of time together. They've been on some trips. I believe they were in Europe.
You should say Lori Harvey, the daughter
Steve
of
Steve Harvey's daughter. Well, the most recent trip they've taken is to Cabo. And we got some photos of them, and this is actually as they're leaving Cabo, coming back to the States.
It exposed how power can be used to silence, manipulate, and exploit. People are now rewatching old red carpet interviews and award show interactions, seeing not glamour, but a web of unspoken agreements and willful ignorance. 50 Cent's message is simple. The truth cannot stay buried forever. He's using humor and media savvy to do what the system has failed to do for decades: hold power accountable. The public's appetite has shifted. We're no longer just entertained by the drama, we're demanding answers.
How do they take this? Do they bury their head in the pillow and cry, or do they keep their head held high and just pack up their stuff and wait for their assigned new prison? Like, tell me everything.
Well, everybody's different. I'm sure he went back was somewhat disappointed, so he's probably, dwelling on that. Hey, it could have been differently. Maybe I should have gotten out. Maybe he's a little bit upset, a little bit angry. I get it. All those emotions come into play.
The laughter has stopped. The curiosity has turned into a demand for justice. As Diddy's story reaches its legal conclusion and 50 Cent's documentary prepares to pull back the final curtain, Hollywood stands at a crossroads. Will the industry finally admit what it knew? Will those who laughed along at the parties now step forward and tell the truth? Or will they keep hiding, praying to whatever God they believe in that those tapes, the ones 50 Cent claims to have, never ever see the light of day? And if he does have them, what world-shattering truths are about to be exposed? The silence is about to be broken. And when it is, the fallout will redefine celebrity culture forever. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Who do you believe is the most nervous about what's on those tapes? And until next time, fam, keep it real.